Hey guys, Michael with Quiet Lawn here. We are ready to convert our second RYOBI mower to lithium, and I pulled it up here in our little shop. Apologize for the mess. I'm starting to get some of it organized, but I still have a lot to organize. I've got some pegboard and some different toolboxes and stuff like that, but as you can see, I still have way more stuff then I have room, so I need to get it all organized. But anyways, so we've got converted the other one last year or earlier this or the beginning of this year, and it's worked out really well. We haven't had any issues with the big battery, which is the brand of the battery. It's big battery, the LiPo4 battery that we swapped. So we are ready to do it with this second RYOBI 30-inch mower. This one still has the lead acid batteries, and we've been using it, pretty much all season. And those batteries, lead acid, they don't have they don't have a lot of run cycles. And also if you run them below halfway, it really damages the batteries, which we have been doing. So, this mower was able to mow 9-10 properties a day when we first got it, but now it's only mowing maybe 3 or 4 because those lead acid batteries have just about had it. So I did order the replacement from Big Battery, LiPo4 battery. It did take a good month or 6 weeks to get here, so if you do order this stuff, be aware that it does take Big Battery a little while to get stuff to you. But I have it all in here, taken out of the box already. So you can see we have our big battery here. It's a 60 amp hour 3.1 kilowatt hour battery. This is called, I think it's the Double Eagle. When you look, it's under the 48 volt line. I think they're about maybe $1,300 to $1,400 right now. They're cheaper than when we bought the one last year. The prices have came down, but you can kind of see the specs on it there. It's the same exact one we put on the other mower. I did order some more parts from Big Battery to hopefully make this installation a little bit easier. I ordered one of these Y splitters with this Anderson plug. So this plugs into the battery, and then that splits off into 2 separate Anderson plugs. So I'm hoping that'll make it a little bit easier with the installation. I still will have to cut one of these because I have to put this shunt in place here in order to install my battery meter. Because as I told you guys in the previous installation video, the battery meter for the lead acid batteries is different. It works differently, so it won't be accurate for this new LiPo4 battery. And as on the same token, the charger that comes with the RYOBI mower will not work with a lithium battery. So don't try your existing charger, as you might damage the mower. I did get a smaller charger from Big Battery this time. I got a 15 amp hour, or not a 15 amp hour, but a 15 amp charger as opposed to the 20 amp that we got for the other one. The reason I did that is we don't need to charge these things really fast. This thing will still charge this, way fast, overnight. It'll still charge it in a matter of, probably 5 hours or so. But that extra 5 amps will really help us because I can plug something else into that outlet. We can charge maybe our electric wheelbarrow or our electric fertilizer spreader, stuff like that. And as you guys grow with electric equipment, you're going to see that that's going to be one of the challenges, is having enough circuits. Even with a new shop here, we still need more power. So anytime I can use one circuit for more than one thing, it's and not just tie it up for a big charger that's going to charge this mower much faster than we need, I'll jump on that. I got everything I needed from Big Battery. I got some extra Anderson connectors with the wire already in them. This stuff came like this. You can see these, they have ring terminals on one side. I got this shunt from Big Battery that came with this battery gauge. I'm just going to cut in the plastic of the, I'll show you where I'll install that, but I'm going to cut that and install that near the existing gauges on the mower. The only thing extra that I had to get was these ring terminals for where I cut, so I can connect them to the shunt here. Home Depot only had 4 gauge, and I needed 6, and of course that's the only size that they didn't have. So I just got one size bigger, and I'll use a hydraulic crimper to go ahead and crimp those on. You can get a hydraulic crimper on Amazon for like 20 bucks, but you will need that. Well, you probably could do these without it, but if you're having to make any new Anderson connectors and you're using these crimp on connectors. You know, you're going to have to get a hydraulic crimper, because, you know, you're not going to be able to crimp those. It just takes a lot of force to crimp those on. But that's it. I'm going to get started on this project. First thing I got to do is, just like the other mower, I'm going to go ahead and zip tie my seat forward there, disconnect my sensor on my seat. I'm going to start to remove this shroud and go ahead and use a bungee cord to bungee that up like I did on the last one, to expose the batteries. And then I'll start taking out the old batteries, disconnecting everything, and then I'll start the process of rewiring for the new battery. But I'm hoping to get this done within a couple hours, since I've already done it before, and because I'm not having to rig up some things like I did last time because I didn't have the right parts. You know, with some of those connectors, I'm hoping this will go a little bit faster this time. But I'll try to set up my tripod here so you can actually see me doing the work, and you know, hopefully we'll knock it out pretty quickly. Okay guys, about to get started here. I've already removed a few of the screws or bolts on these plastic covers. I'm going to go ahead and set the camera up on a mount so you can see me remove the rest. They're like, I don't know, that's like a T, one of those T bits. I don't know, it's not T5, but it's larger. But if you've got just a multi-bit set, you should have what you need to remove those. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up, start taking it apart, and you know, go through the process. Okay, so I basically just took all the screws from this shroud from here back so I could pull it up. I also had to take a few Phillips head screws off to allow this little panel to pop up and release the cover. There's one screw right there. I think there's one back here. So I got those out of the way. Now I need to unplug my, well, actually I can leave, I don't need that to unplug that because that's fine. I do need to unplug this cable here that I did, this connector, and then I need to cut that zip tie right there and disconnect the charge port from the mower so that I can go ahead and bungee this up. Okay, so that was pretty simple. You know, that literally takes about 5 minutes to remove everything and get your shroud bent up. A lot of people said to remove the seat and, you know, take this stuff off in the front, but in my opinion, it's not necessary at all. I have plenty of room to work here. I'm not obstructed by this, and it'll make it much quicker putting everything back. So next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and disconnect my power and everything. Go ahead and take out these batteries, and you know, start going from there. Start cleaning this out so that I can start putting the new battery in there. If I remember correctly, I need to, you know, just take a Phillips head screw and take this harness off of there. I need to unplug and unscrew my connector, my Anderson connector, to plug into the power. I need to remove the Phillips head screws on this little cover, and that's what's going to expose the distribution block for the mower. And I need to take this bolt out so that I can remove, you know, these brackets that are holding the battery down right now. So once I get that, I should be able to go ahead and pull the battery out. Okay, so it took me another probably 3 minutes to remove the batteries. Very simple. Now I'm going to blow out this compartment really well. As you can see, there's a lot of grass that's built up, so I'm going to clean it out, blow it out real well. I'm going to remove my power from my distribution block, put my wiring in, get my batteries in. I do need to use, if you saw my last video doing this, I need to put some kind of rubber weather stripping or rubber weather stripping with a two-sided tape that you can stick down, because the big battery, the new one, doesn't actually sit flush. It kind of rocks around because of these ribs that stick up. So that's what I'm going to do now. Go ahead and clean this out. Go ahead and put some kind of weather stripping or whatever I can find here around the shop, some kind of rubber under it, and then we'll go ahead and throw our battery in. Okay, so I couldn't find the weather stripping that I used on the previous one since we moved to the new shop. I don't know where anything is. So all I did was I had some rubber hose that we used, and I'm going to, cut it down the middle like this, and then just use that and kind of fit it over the metal there. Okay, so as you can see, I've just placed these rubber, heater hoses for a car. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut off this ground right here, take loose this Anderson connector and go ahead and disconnect that. And then I'm going to drop my battery in and start wiring everything up. So I couldn't remember how long these batteries were compared to the stock ones, but wasted my time cutting the hoses on the ends because it's not that long. But sitting nicely now, got those rubber hoses under it. Now I'm going to start wiring everything up. Okay, let me explain what we're doing here wiring wise. First off, I cut off the Anderson connector that was coming from the mower, plugging into the original batteries. I completely took loose the positive that goes right here to this distribution block. I completely took that loose, and I put a ring terminal on the ground right here. So what I'm going to do now is, I told you I bought this Y connector from Anderson connector from Big Battery, and it basically just splits this one connector into two separate ones. One going out this way, one going out here to the charger. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut both of these negatives right here, and I'm going to put ring terminals on them, and I'm going to put them on this distribution block here. The reason I need that is for my shunt, so that I can hook up my battery meter. And then I'm going to put both of these on the ring terminal going into right here, or onto this distribution block. And then one side I'm going to connect to this ground cable from the mower. The other side is going to connect, to the ground cable going to this plug that goes out to the charger. The other thing I'm hooking up is this little harness right here, which goes to the battery, to the meter here. So one side I'm hooking to the positive on the mower distribution block. The other side is going to also get mounted, the negative is going to also get mounted on this distribution block. That way this meter can read both sides of the ground, going in, the power going in, power going to the mower, and the power coming in from the charger, to make it more accurate. So I'll hook that up, go ahead and cut everything and put my ring terminals on there and then show you from there. Though the other one, the positive from this is going to obviously connect to the, this power block or the distribution block on the mower. So I'll cut one and connect it to that block, the ground, and then this positive will be connected to that distribution block. Okay guys, I've got everything wired up here, and before I kind of button it in place, I wanted to show you how I ran everything because it's easier to see right now. First off, if you get ring terminals, get 4 gauge, even though this wire is 6 gauge on the connectors that come from Big Battery. It's aluminum, so it's a lot fluffier, and you would have a hard time getting all the wire into a 6 gauge ring terminal connector. So go ahead and get a size up, get a 4 gauge. You could they're aluminum, so you could probably do them with like a pair of pliers or a large crimper, but my crimper was a little bit too small and I already had a hydraulic crimper, so I just used that. But basically you can see I have my connector here that plugs into the Big Battery. My negatives both go into this distribution block right here that I also bought from Big Battery. One side goes out and connects to that cable that I cut off of the mower. I just put a ring terminal right there. The other side connects to the other side of the Anderson plug, the one that goes to plug into the charger. The only other thing is I've got my, I got my wire for my battery gauge. I've got the negative that's also put right there, and I've got the positive that goes to the distribution block right here, so that I can get an accurate reading on that. And then I cut, one of my positives goes to the charge cable, and the other one is going to connect right here onto this distribution block, and that should make my wiring a lot easier, but definitely much easier than last time when I had to rig up some stuff because I didn't have what I needed. But I'm going to go ahead and make my connections, button everything up, put some tape around this to keep it from falling apart, and I should be able to start buttoning it back up. The only other thing is I need to there are 2 green wires in this connector. I got to take this connector apart. There are 2 green wires here that are a sensor that does not let the mower turn on if it's charging. It connects up here. I need to bypass that sensor since we'll be using a different charger. So I'll cut this, splice those 2 green wires together with a butt connector, and that should take care of any issues with the mower not starting from a sensor. But yeah, let me go ahead and button that up and it should be good to go. Okay, so I've got all my wiring buttoned up. I'll put a couple more zip ties in places. But the last thing I got to do is install my battery gauge here. So what I'm going to do is probably take just a little razor blade, just a box knife. I'll kind of mark this outline of this out with a marker, and then I'll come back here and cut it with a knife, cut out the outline, and then I'll go ahead and set this in place. Okay, so we got our gauge put in. Pretty simple, probably took about 3 minutes. Like I said, it's maybe better ways, but just taking a little box knife, it only took me a few minutes to go ahead and pop this in. They sent like 10 feet of cable, which I don't know why, it's just a lot, but I zip tied all that up, curled it up neatly, and I think we're about ready. Try this thing out. I did have the breaker off. These big batteries do have breakers to cut power off, so I did have the breaker off while I was working. You can see here it's already coming on. I know you can't see LED in video, but it says 85%. So I think we're good. I've already bypassed my sensor, as you saw. I spliced those two green wires together, so we should be good for the mower to actually start. I'm going to go ahead and turn the key and see what happens. Okay, so we're on. Initially, everything seems to be on. I'll have to button it back up, put the seat down, make sure it actually moves. I did hear a slight little pop when I turned it on, but I did hear weird stuff like that when I put the other one in, so I'll just make sure nothing popped, like a little capacitor or something like that, or a little fuse. But let me go ahead and put this seat down and see if it actually turns on and moves. As soon as I put the seat down, I heard it start beeping, so you know, I think everything works fine. Let's go ahead and try to go in reverse. Oh, got the parking brake on. That might help. That always scares me. I go to change the battery and then I try to back it up or move it and it doesn't work, but then I realize it's locked in place because the parking brake has a little kill switch on it where you can't do anything. So back, reverse works, forward works. I'm going to test the blades to see if they work, make sure I don't have anything. It's going to get sucked up under there, under the mower. All right, let's try the blades. Okay, so I think we're good to go. Blades work, mower works. Now I'm going to go ahead and button everything up. Go ahead and put my covers back on. Go ahead and route my charge cable there out the back of the mower, and we should be good to go. Okay, so got it all buttoned up. You can see from the video, it's a kind of a pain in the butt to get the plastic back on because the battery sticks up a lot farther than the old battery, and it pushes this up, so it kind of warps it out of place a little bit, but you can get it back in place. I didn't get it on the back here because it looks like the previous owners changed the batteries and they've kind of bent up all the little plastic tabs, and you know, it's just not worth spending 30 minutes to try to get that piece back on. It's not really going to affect anything. So got it all buttoned up. Get my seat back down here. I'm going to go ahead and open up the shop, drive her out, test it out, hook it up to our 15 amp charger here, and make sure everything looks good. But that was a lot simpler than the first time. You know, probably took me about 2 hours, you know, going at a pretty leisurely pace.